Today, we're going to be breaking down Alex Hormozi's most brutally honest advice on landing pages. Alex knows landing pages better than most people, and the reason is simple. He has multiple 8-figure exits under his belt, and he's currently growing a 9-figure portfolio of companies. And I'm willing to bet that one of the reasons he's done so well is simply due to the fact that he's done thousands of split tests across dozens of industries to find what converts. I've personally audited over 1,500 plus landing pages and built somewhere north of 400 of them in 80 plus niches. But because there's always something to learn, I wanted to see if there's something that he knows that I don't. So let's dive right into it and see what we can learn from Alex to make killer landing pages that get conversions.
Marketing advice number 12. All advertising works. It's just a matter of efficiency. I want to drill this down people's throats. The amount of time I've said Facebook ads don't work for us, Google ads don't work for us, TikTok ads don't work for us, direct mail doesn't work for us, radio ads don't work for us, content doesn't work for us, outreach doesn't work for us. Fundamentally, if you have a qualified person on the other side and you make an offer to them that solves a key problem for them, if you can get them on the phone, you can make money, period. So if you can rephrase the problem is, I don't know how to make Facebook ads work for us. I don't know how to make TikTok work for us. I don't know how to make content work for us. I don't know how to make outreach work for us. Then that becomes a problem that you can solve.
This is completely spot on by Alex. As Alex says, if you're getting traffic and assuming that that traffic is high quality, relevant, and your offer actually solves your visitor's problem, then your advertising can and should work. There's nothing unique or special about your business that prevents advertising from working. One of the biggest reasons why advertising doesn't work at an efficient scale based on doing this hundreds of times is that people drive traffic to really poorly optimized landing pages or websites that have very lower average conversion rates. Long gone are the days where you can just throw up an ad and people will just magically buy. The ad simply just gets to click, your page then has to do the selling. When I see someone's landing page, I can immediately identify why they think their advertising is not working, and it's because their landing page is not fundamentally optimized for conversions in the first place. So they're spending all this money and burning cash down the drain. I cannot tell you how many companies approach our agency every day where they're spending as low as a few $1,000s to several hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on advertising via all forms, only to then struggle with a lack of conversions and very few leads or sales. Or they're not able to scale profitably. But after redesigning their landing page and making it optimized for conversions, the exact same traffic started converting 50, 100, and even 250% higher across both our B2B and e-com clients because their landing page started to do the heavy lifting.
Neil Patel said in one of his keynote speeches that he believes that the future of marketing is going to exist in CRO, so conversion rate optimization. And he said that because, the prices are going to only consistently go up, and most platforms are based on an auction, which means that it's just multiple businesses competing for the same eyeballs. And so the people who are better able to convert those eyeballs are going to be the ones who are going to be able to outcompete and win.
To put Alex's point into perspective, the cost of virtually every ad platform has skyrocketed and exploded over the last 5 to 10 years. Meta ad costs have increased 61% year over year. TikTok has increased by a whopping 185% year over year. Google saw CPMs increase by 75%, while search ad cost clicks were up by 14%. So when he says that the future of marketing is conversion rate optimization, I couldn't agree more. I always like to say to people, right? You have two different ways of doubling your revenue. The first is you can double your traffic. The second is you can double your conversion rate. And I will take doubling your conversion rate any day of the week, because when you double your conversion rate and you drive more traffic to that same landing page or website, the revenue and ROI you generate is also amplified and compounds. I'm talking from experience when I say this. We've helped numerous clients across both B2B and e-com more than double their conversion rate just through landing pages and conversion optimization alone.
All right, and so the value equation has 4 components, and I'm not going to go super deep on it, but I'll just walk you through it real quick. So you've got the dream outcome, which is what's the big thing that people want? So in this instance, it'd be they want to make more money in their gym, they might want to lose weight, they might want to fix their relationship, they might want to look cool in front of their friends, whatever. The next is the perceived likelihood of achievement, or the equal opposite of that is risk. How likely is it that when I buy this thing, I get what I want?
So Alex Hormozi's value equation is directly correlated with landing page optimization, particularly your headline and subheadline. For the dream outcome, you simply want to think about what is that one thing my customer really cares about and they really want to achieve. I like to use the so that principle. So let's just say we're using skincare, for example, right? Your customers want better skin so that they can feel better, so that they can feel more confident, so that they can love what they see in the mirror and attract the opposite sex. Then you want to increase the perceived likelihood of somebody achieving that dream outcome or achieving success. You can do this through social proof, statistics, etc. So for example, for our laser eye surgery client, the dream outcome is better vision, right? So we quantify that in the headline by saying get 20/20 vision. We then increase the perceived likelihood of them achieving that dream outcome by highlighting the fact that they have a 100% success rate in the headline and highlighting the 60,000 plus successful surgeries that they've done. For our education client who offers online courses, we highlighted the dream outcome by saying that they can launch their own business or high-paying career completely debt-free. That's what people care about or dream at the end of the day. We then increase the perceived likelihood of achieving that success by highlighting statistics like the re-enrollment rate, the job placement rate, and the graduation rate. Pro tip from my side, we've seen massive increases in conversions by quantifying the value in the headline itself. Another pro tip for e-commerce is to highlight your trust badges. We did this for Parcel Safety underneath their add to cart, where we highlighted their warranty, their shipping, their money back guarantee, and we saw a 30% lift in conversions from just this one A/B test alone. To come up with high converting copy in seconds, you can use my high converting landing page prompt framework in the description below. You simply just put all of your website content into ChatGPT or another LLM. You put in my headline prompt, and you'll get high converting copy that's probably better than what you have right now.
The next question is time. How long is it going to take between when I start and when I get? And the longer that is, the less valuable the thing is. And then you have effort and sacrifice, which is how hard am I going to have to try? What am I going to have to start doing that I don't want to do or stop doing that I do want to do?
For the time aspect, you always want to try to quantify the timeline in which someone can expect to receive results. For a physical therapy client, we highlighted in the headline that they can completely eliminate dizziness in just 12 weeks, right? It makes it feel a lot more impactful than just eliminate dizziness. Here's another example for our TRT replacement client, where we're highlighting all of the benefits that they can get and the dream outcome, but we're quantifying the time aspect by saying within 30 days, right? It's a lot more impactful. To reduce effort and sacrifice, here's an example for a client where we're highlighting the dream outcome up front by saying earning up to 6 figures spray tanning, but then we're reducing the effort and sacrifice. We're saying that you can do this with low upfront cost, no license required, etc. Another example for a bookkeeping client where we're highlighting the fact in their subheadline that all of their finances can be handled for them with zero effort required from the client side, right? It's a complete turnkey approach.
Right off the bat, the most expensive real estate on this page is top to bottom. So better bar program, I would take that out because they don't know what they're opting in for yet, and that doesn't mean anything. Launch an elite high profit bar. I would split test the hell out of that. It might become the hottest bar in your town.
Okay. Just try out a few different.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then beautiful cocktails, professional team, and seamless operations. I would nix that. Mm-hmm. So I would want the sub headline to be basically the single largest concern someone has about the promise of the headline. So here's this amazing thing. And here's that thing that you're thinking about now that you don't believe me. And so let me tell you why you should believe me in the next line.
Right. Like the reason your cocktails suck is because
yeah.
Right off the bat, Alex suggests cutting out elements that are not absolutely necessary, and he specifically says that the most expensive real estate is from top to bottom. What he's referring to here is called the above the fold, right? This is the topmost area of any landing page that is immediately visible without scrolling. Now, there's two things to remember. This is the only section on any landing page or website that you can guarantee with certainty that 100% of your users will see. Number two, the above the fold is the only section that 60% of people statistically will never even scroll past. This means that nailing down the above the fold is absolutely critical to getting people to scroll down and subsequently convert. You should be spending 99% of your efforts just on this one section when starting out. We've easily seen conversion increases upwards of 130% just by A/B testing the above the fold. So as Alex suggests, you want to look closely at the top of your page and simply just cut out any elements that are not absolutely necessary. For example, this page has way too many headlines with 5 to 6 different lines of text and 4 different offers at the top, and there's just way too much going on, people are going to get completely overwhelmed and exit the page. Just keep it super simple, right? You want 2 forms of social proof. You want 1 clear headline, 1 clear subheadline, 1 call to action button above the fold, and then an image or video ideally above the fold. One thing Alex doesn't mention is you want to try to fit as much information as possible above the fold without overwhelming people like the previous example I showed. I come across so many pages that have these large blocks of unnecessary white space, or their hero image just takes up a ton of real estate, and it's completely killing your conversions, right? It's pushing down all of your information underneath the fold in a section that's already super compromised given that 60% don't scroll past. Here's a redesign of an above the fold that we did for our e-commerce client, applying all of these principles and streamlining the design that led to a 64% lift in the conversion rate and a 72% increase in the revenue per visitor. If you want to get access to the exact above the fold layout that we use for high converting landing pages and for the rest of the page as well and how to structure it across both our B2B and e-commerce clients, click the link in the description below to get access. Okay, so the next thing is that you need to have a extremely benefit-driven headline that really focuses on the dream outcome of your end user. You would think this is simple, but you would be surprised by how many pages I come across every day where their headline simply just repeats their company name, or they have some generic headline that's vague, it uses jargon, and it doesn't really communicate any benefit at all. For example, this is a really poor landing page where the headline simply just says they're the best without actually telling me why they're the best. The worst mistake of all time is headlines that simply just communicate who you are and what you do, which is a complete waste of space. I can show you hundreds of examples of pages like this with poor headlines, and if you're doing this, it's absolutely killing your conversions. The only thing you need in your headline is why should I care? Right? That's all people want at the end of the day. You want to focus on that one hard-hitting benefit that makes people say, take my money, right? And focus on how your product or service actually benefits people in their day-to-day life. We've seen conversion increases at our agency from 60 to 80% plus just by testing the headline alone. We helped our education bootcamp client completely revamp their headlines, and this was a major factor in doubling their conversion rate. The next thing is the sub-headline. As Alex says, you want to basically use your subheadline to explain what it is you do to achieve the high-level promise or dream outcome that you mentioned in the headline. You also want to convey your USP and what makes your product or service unique from other competitors. We redesigned the above the fold for our therapy client, applying all of the same principles, and we saw a 108% boost in qualified leads and conversions. We also did this for our pet e-commerce client, where we completely revamped our above the fold to fit more information up front, and we saw a 34% increase in their conversion rate, and we generated them an incremental $20,000 plus per month in incremental projected revenue. So this covers the above the fold, but what about the rest of the page?
Proof over promise. Your proof is going to do more selling than any promise can possibly do, because the promises all function as an approximation of the likelihood that they're going to get a result. You want it to be as visual as possible. So just a bunch of words on a screen is less compelling than a screenshot of someone's bank account after they made money. Or someone saying, hey, I lost 20 pounds is not as compelling as the picture of them losing 20 pounds, which is also less compelling than a video of them weighing in and then a video of them weighing out.
A key part of any high converting landing page we build is using tons and tons of social proof. We typically use anywhere from 3 to 5 sections for any given landing page to constantly build trust at all critical juncture points of the user journey and the paid journey. I honestly love this tip by Alex, which is to visualize your proof, right? We've easily seen conversion increases upwards of 80 to 100% plus just by testing this one thing alone. When you visualize your proof, it creates a level of emotional resonance that you can't just get with normal text. And this can be applied across so many industries. For our HVAC client, instead of just showing boring text on the screen, we actually showed the units that were installed inside of their clients' homes or office spaces to help visualize the impact. For our plastic surgery client, we showed before and after images, and also videos of people talking about their transformation to help people visualize the impact. For our luxury closet client, we showed off the beautiful units that were installed in conjunction with the written reviews to really help sell the dream. So instead of just standard video testimonials, which a lot of people already do, you can take it a step further by visualizing the proof and helping people visualize the transformation as well. One thing Alex doesn't talk about is how to actually present these reviews on your landing page. I like to follow what I call the wall of love, right? For desktop, you basically show all of your reviews up front in like a wall format where people can just consume the reviews, and subconsciously by the sheer volume of reviews, it also just builds a lot of trust. For mobile, very, very important thing is you don't want to hide your reviews in a carousel, right? Especially towards the top of the page where you're highlighting your reviews, you want to show that upfront on mobile, right? Carousels have very, very low engagement rates statistically, right? Usually less than 1 to 2%. You can install Microsoft Clarity and also see how many people are actually clicking through your reviews.
And the fourth element of proof is that you want to capture pain. The content that begins with pain converts significantly higher. And so this is my theory around this, which is that the pain relates to the customer or prospect where they're currently at. If they start with the promise, it's too far disconnected. But if you start with pain, they relate to the person, and then you can take them through the story of them getting the result. But if you start with the end result, it's too disjointed, it's too far away, and it becomes less believable.
As I always tell clients, people buy with emotion first, and then they rationalize that decision with logic. People are coming to your page feeling something, right? Maybe it's a deep-rooted problem that they've been struggling with for a long time, right? Maybe it's that dream outcome that they really want to achieve in that end goal or end state. Whatever it is, you want to tap into that feeling, and as Alex says, you want to introduce that section first before you talk about your promises and your value props as well. We basically call this the pain to proof section. Just like Alex suggested, we typically put this right underneath the above the fold if you look at our landing page structure template, again, link in the description below, where we want to build immediate trust and credibility and connection with the user to say that we know what you're going through. And then we lead with the value props and what makes us different and what makes us unique.
Think in moments. What is the moment that someone think, wow, I feel better? What's the moment? What occurred? What happened, right? Maybe it's that they were able, let's say if it's an elderly population that we're doing with this weight loss thing, they were able to take the kid off the ground and pick him up, right? And they have this moment where after they had that little 3-4 minute exchange, they're like, man, that was awesome. I couldn't do that before because I was so weak and I hadn't developed my shoulders regular. I didn't have the mobility to do that. Like, wow. So if I say that, I can describe all the things that someone might experience and then denote that they feel better without saying you're going to feel better. And so this applies for each of these elements of copy. And this is what makes copy potent. It's the specificity, because you want someone to understand it within their own context of like, man, I've had that happen. And that's real.
This is by far one of the most powerful copywriting tips. So to do this, you can use the PAS framework. Problem, agitate, solve. You want to first call out the problem very clearly and make people think, this is exactly me. Then you agitate the problem, right? You really turn up the heat and really make them feel it, right? Talk about all of the things that they've tried and failed at. Lastly, you want to present your solution as the way out of their problem and give them a clear, compelling reason to act. We added this section for a physical therapy client, and this was one of the many changes that led to a 282% increase in their conversion rate. And we tend to see a lot of people convert right there and then just after seeing this section. That's how powerful it is. Here's another example for an education client where we're highlighting all of the pain points and things that they're going through to really meet them where they are first before going into our value props. So we talked about social proof, we talked about the pain to proof section, and we talked about the above the fold. There's one last section that you need to highlight throughout multiple points of your page, which is what I call value prop sections. As the name suggests, these are basically value props of your company that talks all about the unique aspects of your company, what makes you different from competitors, and really why customers should care. Let's see Alex's advice on how to write these.
Headlines come first for a reason. And the reason I have it as the first one is that it is the first and most important. So to quote David Ogilvy, once you've written your headline, you spent 80 cents of your advertising dollar, right? And so that means that the vast majority of people will only see the headlines in whatever it is that you make. And it almost feels unfair that a headline is just a phrase or one word or one question, but it is also the thing that is ultimately going to get the most people or have the biggest lever.
I say this time and time again in every single one of my videos. People will only read 20% of the content on your page or website. The other 80%, they just scan. The mistake I see when people write their value prop sections is they use very generic headlines like, here's what we do, right? How it works, what makes us unique, what our customers are saying. You want to operate under the framework that somebody will only read the headlines on your landing page alone, right? Just imagine that they don't even read the body text at all. Is the benefit of your company clear in just the headline alone? If it's not, you need to rewrite your headlines. So instead of saying what makes us unique, actually say what makes you unique in the headline itself. Instead of saying how it works, actually explain how it works and how easy the process is from start to finish in the headline itself. Instead of saying, here's what our customers say, you want to say instead, trusted by X number of customers to achieve XYZ benefit.
So we got a plus 20% CRO test improvement, which is a monster win, especially at the level of optimization that this company is in. So we're talking 8 figures plus a month in revenue. Like, it's a big company. And so 20% lift is huge. But on top of that, we got a 50% lift. And then we got a 28% lift. So we had 3 mega wins. How valuable is that to the company? Tremendously valuable, because things that are efficiency improvements typically are long lasting. What's cool about that is that when you have an efficiency improvement, it means your LTV to CAC ratio expands, which allows you to spend more money in advertising, more money in talent acquisition, all the way around the business. It literally just makes the business stronger and is a competitive moat.
This right here sums up why CRO is so powerful. As you start getting more and more traffic to your landing page or website, you can start to run multiple split tests every single month. It's an absolute disservice when I see landing pages or websites that get a ton of traffic, but they're not running any split test at all. And it really pains me because they're leaving a ton of money on the table. As Alex said, the ROI gain from conversion rate optimization is absolutely massive. And the best part is that it improves every aspect of your business, right? It allows you to spend more money on advertising. It allows you to allocate more resources to other parts of your business, like, hiring and talent. If you get a lot of traffic and you plug in your numbers to any ROI calculator, you can see firsthand how a small increase in your conversion rate can result in monster lifts in your revenue. As Alex mentioned, right? All of those 20%, those 40%, those 80% lifts, they stack on top of each other and they compound over time. And when you extrapolate those monthly increases in conversions and revenue to a year, 2 years, 3 years, that's where the true value of CRO comes into play. When you do that, it's not hard to see how you can easily double or triple your business and lower your customer acquisition costs substantially. For example, for one of our e-commerce clients, we noticed that they had a lot of objections around the price, right? It wasn't that necessarily people found the price to be expensive. It was just that it was more expensive relative to other competitors in the market. So what we ended up doing was we moved the price from the top of the page to further down on the page. And we started building more trust elements above the price. The first test we ran netted a 32% lift in the conversion rate. So then we thought, how could we double down on this winning test? So we started to add more and more trust building elements one by one above the price and higher up on the page. Just by building off of that same fundamental hypothesis, we saw a cumulative lift of an 88% lift in their conversion rate, unlocking massive increases in their revenue. For another client in the pet space, we added these social media icons above the fold, which basically when you click on them, it takes you into the collection page. From that one test, we saw a 72% lift in their conversion rate, and it generated an incremental projected 6 figures in annual revenue. So we then thought, how can we double down on this winning test? And we took those same icons and simply just applied it to their navigation menu when somebody clicks the hamburger menu. We saw another 15% lift site-wide just by implementing that one test, and it generated an incremental $91,000 plus in annual revenue. If you have high traffic and you're not doing any A/B tests, whether you're in B2B, e-com, or B2C, CRO is a no-brainer, right? You really need to start taking this seriously. Now, you can take all of this and figure out how to apply it to your own landing pages. Or you can click here to watch the next one where I built a high converting landing page completely from scratch in under 4 hours as a challenge. And in that video, I create a landing page for my own company, Thrillex, so you know that I'm not holding anything back and making sure that it's the absolute best landing page using all of the design techniques and principles that I know of. If you need a reference point and you want to see how a professional does this step by step, I'll see you over there.